It's my privilege to welcome you again for the last two pathology snippets in the pathology snippet series. A brief introduction about myself. I am Dr. Ame Anil Munemane, intern and founder president of BVDUMC Quizzing Society. The last three snippets on tumor markers, vasculitis, and embolism were taken by our Vice President Susmita Gokhale. I'll be continuing with the last two snippets for today, that is review and MCQ discussion. So the topic for today is review of inflammatory myopathies. Now, inflammatory myopathies is a broad term that encompasses four disorders, which are dermatomyositis, polymyositis, INMN, and inclusion body myositis. We'll be discussing each one as it comes. Now, you guys must be wondering that from where has this topic come? I can assure you that this topic of inflammatory myopathies is given in Robbins in the chapter of peripheral nerves, but this topic is ignored in pathology. But this topic is very important as far as medicine is concerned. In rheumatology, especially in the entrances, NEET, INI, CET, questions are set on dermatomyositis, polymyositis, etc. So let's go with the first disorder, that is dermatomyositis. Dermatomyositis refers to systemic autoimmune disease that typically presents with proximal muscle weakness and skin changes. Both words are very important here, proximal muscle weakness and skin changes. It is an immunologic disease in which there is damage to small blood vessels which contributes to muscle injury. Epidemiology commonly occurs in 30 to 50-year-old female more than a male. And 15 to 30% of these patients are associated with hematological and GI malignancies. So let's see this image. So if you can see this image, I'm zooming in the image. I hope you can see it better. The first image on the left side shows a elderly woman who is having something called as a heliotrope rash that is below her eyelids. And the second is the histologic appearance of the muscle. This is showing perifascicular atrophy of the muscle fibers. You can see it. It is showing the perivascular atrophy of the muscle fibers. Let's go ahead. This is Scholl sign, also called as a V sign. Again seen in a middle-aged woman. Now, why is it called a V sign? It is called a V sign because it looks like an inverted V. The rash looks like an inverted V. The third thing about dermatomyositis is Gottron's papules, which are seen on the knuckles. Then mechanic hands. Hands that look like those of a mechanic who has worked long hours and toiled long hours repairing the cars. So because of that, the hands look like as though they are of a mechanic's hands. So this is all about now. I told you in the first slide that dermatomyositis has both proximal muscle weakness as well as skin changes. So if there are only skin changes but no muscle weakness, it is called as amyopathic dermatomyositis or dermatomyositis sign myositis. So this is some things like this is ADM, amyotrophic dermatomyositis. Facial rash, severe rash on hands which is extending up to the forearm and a forearm rash. Okay, so what are the autoantibodies? Now their autoantibodies are associated with clinical features. So anti-MI2 antibody, which is directed against a helicase, is implicated in nucleosome remodeling. It has a strong association with Gottron papules and heliotrope rash. Anti-Jo1 antibodies directed against the enzyme histidyl tRNA synthetase is strongly associated with mechanic hands. And anti-P155 or P140 antibodies, which are directed against several transcriptional regulators, is associated with juvenile and paraneoplastic cases of dermatomyositis. Now, moving on to the next disorder, which is immune-mediated necrotizing myopathy called as IMNM. It is a subacute muscle weakness typically associated with significantly increased creatine kinase. And if you do a biopsy, muscle biopsy will show myofiber necrosis, autoantibodies against HMG-CoA reductase. The third The third disorder is polymyositis. Polymyositis is an adult onset inflammatory myopathy that shares myalgia and muscle weakness with dermatomyositis. However, it does not have the skin features or the cutaneous features. So epidemiology is a 20 to 30-year-old female more common than a male. What are the associated conditions? It is a part of overlap syndrome and other autoimmune diseases. Here, there is more proximal muscle weakness than distal muscle weakness. However, it can mimic myasthenia gravis. If you remember myasthenia gravis, evening fatigue, ptosis, extraocular muscle involvement, right? Tiredness. But then how will you differentiate polymyositis with myasthenia gravis? Because the muscle involvement is same, proximal muscle weakness. The way to differentiate that is in myasthenia gravis, extraocular muscles are always involved, whereas in polymyositis, extraocular muscles are never involved. Very important. Going to the last disorder, that is inclusion body myositis. Inclusion body myositis is a disease of late adulthood. It typically affects patients who are more than 50 years of age, and there is antibody to CN1A, that is cytosolic 5' nucleoside dase 1A. Again, more in females, tender nodules on palpation. However, compared to your polymyositis and dermatomyositis, where you had proximal muscle weakness more than distal, in inclusion body myositis, there is distal muscle weakness more than proximal, which is a characteristic. Also, a question which has been asked in various USMLE question banks that I saw, that dysphagia can be seen in inclusion body myositis, which is due to esophageal and laryngeal muscle involvement. So this is weakness at flexion, and this is a very good test that you can do in inclusion body myositis, is that you ask the patient to make a tight fist. A normal person will be able to bury his fingernails of 4 fingers, whereas a person of inclusion body myositis cannot curl the fingertips. Now, this is a biopsy image of inclusion body myositis. I'm zooming it for better view. Now, this is showing rimmed vacuoles. If you're seeing the arrows, it is showing granular rimming, and the stain used here is modified Gomori trichome stain. So thank you, everyone. I hope you have enjoyed all our snippets. I hope that these snippets were helpful, and I hope that these snippets added some more information. Although I am not an expert in pathology, neither do I know pathology too much. I am just a student of pathology at the end of the day. With very little information that I had in these pathology topics that I have covered, I have tried to convey it. If there are any mistakes, kindly put it in the comment section or mail us on bv2mcquizingsociety@gmail.com, because it will help us improve for the next time. Because whichever quiz we will be conducting in the next month, I'll again be starting this snippet series because I've got good response from people. There are many people who are watching the snippet videos every day, or some people are also watching it as soon as they are uploaded, which is a really good news for us. Believe me, guys, it gives us great motivation if you are seeing the videos quickly and on the same day. If there are any suggestions or if there are any comments or feedback, please comment on the video below, or please mail on bv2mcquizingsociety@gmail.com. So this marks the end of review series of pathology snippets. There is only one snippet remaining in pathology, which is inflammatory myopathies MCQ discussion. If you have liked the video, please share the video with your colleagues and friends, and subscribe to our BV2MC Quizzing Society YouTube channel. Thank you.